morning, everyone. Welcome to NorthBridge. Welcome to those of you joining us online. How are we doing today? We doing all right? Yeah, I'm so excited to see you. It's going to be a great morning. It is good to be together here in the house and online. If you are new, an extra special welcome to you. So glad to have you with us today. We've got a gift for you, so if you haven't already, please stop by the guest service table before you leave. Online, a little button should be popping up. It says today's links. One of those links says I'm new. Click on that. We'll drop a gift in the mail for you as well. It's just our way of saying thanks so much for joining us today. We really are glad that you're here. We hope that you would have a great experience. In fact, I know you're going to have a great experience. And that something you experience would lead you into a growing relationship with Jesus, because that's what this church is about. That's what this next hour together is all about. But it's not just Sundays we're about that. It's all throughout the week. So I want to let you know about a couple of environments that you're invited to that will help you take that next step and be a part of what God's doing in and through this church that we love. The first is an invite to all of you that would consider yourselves 20-somethings, okay? So I know a lot of you right now are like, oh, that's not me. But it is a lot of you out there. So if you're a high school grad, you're a 20-something, you're in early 30s, you're single, you're married, that's cool, without kids, okay? So that's a qualifier, without kids. We have got a brand new group for you, and it's going to begin meeting next Sunday at noon. We've got lunch provided for you. This is going to be a really large-sized group. It's going to be absolutely awesome. It's led by Nolan Fox and his wife, Bethany. Nolan's actually leading worship for us, so give a wave, Nolan. There he is. Give it up for Nolan. And I just can't wait for this to kick off. And so if you know 20-somethings, you are a 20-something, recent high school grad, early 30s, spread the word. Next week, noon, here at the church is going to be the kickoff of that entire event. And if you're here today and you want to know more, grab Nolan. He's going to be available. Ask him questions. He'll be able to give you all the details. Now, here's an event that is for everyone, okay? Teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I don't need to keep going. You get the idea. We are having a night of worship. You're all invited on Thursday evening, October 28th. We'll have childcare for birth through preschool. It's a night where we sing more than we do on a typical Sunday morning. We'll spend some time in prayer. Then we get to celebrate communion together. So get the small group together. Invite your friends. Come on out as a family or just as you are. If you've never been to one, you don't want to miss it. They're absolutely incredible evenings together. We only do them a handful of times throughout the year, but the next one is going to be on the 28th of this month, Thursday evening. You're not going to want to miss it. As far as this morning, we're wrapping up our series, Way Better. But before we get to that, we're going to sing some songs. The first one, it's got energy. We're singing about God's amazing love and amazing grace. So I hope you're ready to sing. You ready to sing? All right. All the lyrics are going to be on the side screens. They're going to be on your screen at home as well. So please join in, sing along. Right now, please stand, give a welcome wave and a smile to someone around you. Let them know that you're glad to see them. And I'm going to hand it off to the band.
How's it going, everybody? We're so glad to be with you this morning to sing the praise to our God who has made a way where there was none. We have grace that has covered us, that we might have a way to be with the Father in heaven through Jesus Christ. Come on, let's sing this out. Sing Who Breaks. Who breaks the power of sin and darkness, whose love is mighty and so much stronger, the King of glory, the King above all kings. You know, sing Who shakes the whole earth with holy thunder and leaves us breathless in awe and wonder, the King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. Oh, you lay down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. this out. He's worthy. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Every voice. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Come on, give it to him. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. We sing. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Jesus. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy, worthy, worthy. Oh, this is amazing grace. This is unfailing love. Yeah, that you would take my place. Oh, that you would bear my cross. Oh, you laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. All that you've done for me. This is amazing grace. Come on, give it to me. Man, I love that simple truth. It's something worth singing about, that we are covered by the grace of Jesus. Come on, sing this out. Yeah, I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together, and every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Sing, there's nothing. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing, and nothing is better than you. Oh, I'm not afraid, and I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. Thank you, God. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley, and there's not a place your mercy and grace, it won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. turn grace into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. Sing, he's the only one. Only one who can. There's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Lord, there's nothing, and nothing is better than you. Come on, you sing it out. There's nothing better than him today. Come on. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. Lord, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn grace into glory. You're the only one who can. So you turn grace. You turn grace into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You are. You're the only one who can. Amen. God, we are so thankful that you have made a way where there didn't seem to be one. Where you took somebody as broken as me, as broken as all of us. And you became broken on a cross, only to be resurrected, that we might join you in that kind of resurrection life, in the freedom and the hope of the glory of God. We thank you for that. In your name we pray. Amen. Thank you so much for singing with us. Hey, you can have a seat this morning.
I echo that. Thank you so much for singing with us. Thank you for leading us, worship team. You know, here at NorthBridge, it's on the walls, it's on the t-shirts, and it's something that we say all the time. We say that we are for Pittsburgh. And the reason we say that is because for far too long, churches have been known for what they're against. And we don't want to be a church like that. We want to be known for what we're for. And we are for the people of Pittsburgh, our neighbors, literally, our communities, our coworkers, our family members, our friends, because God's for them and he wants the best for them. And we want that as well. And so we want to reflect that to the world around us. And so, you know, once a year, we dial up the volume incredibly on that, because to be for people, it looks like giving them and serving them and loving them the way that Jesus did those very things for us. And so we're going to be like that all throughout the year. But once a year, we just crank it up to 11, so to speak. And we do this thing called Be Rich. And so a couple of weeks ago, we asked you to be extra generous. You're some of the most generous people I know. In fact, if this is your first time here, you are sitting to somebody that, if they call this their church home, is one of the most generous people I've ever come across. And I don't say that lightly. It's extraordinary what people do through their generosity here. And it was like, let's be extra generous. And so you've done that. You've given and given generously and extravagantly. And we're going to announce what you gave locally next week. That's going to be our giving total at Be Rich Celebration Sunday. If you have not been a part of that, it's not too late. You can go online right now or even stop by the info table. There's a QR code and there's a little drop-down menu when you click on Give online or with that QR code. Just click on Be Rich 2021, because every penny of that is being given away. Some of it was given away this week, but next week, Be Rich Celebration Sunday, we're giving away like 3, 4, 5 checks live on stage. We're giving it all away. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be so much fun. It's one of these things that we get to do as a church to just really influence and partner with our local and global nonprofits. And so if you want to be a part of that and those checks, between now and Thursday, give to Be Rich. But that's not the only thing we're doing financially. We said, let's serve. And so last week you brought in all this food and it was piled up and it was given to our local food pantries this week. And then we said, let's serve. Let's get together on a Saturday in November. And so we're partnering with World Vision. We're going to be at their warehouse in Sewickley. And we're going to take everything that's been, well, not everything that's been donated there. It's a warehouse the size of like the end of Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, it just goes on forever. So we're not taking everything, but we're going to take everything that they have designated for us that day, and we're going to package it because it's been donated from companies all across the U.S., and we're going to package it and get it ready for distribution to local and global partners that absolutely need this stuff. And we need you to help. So many of you have already signed up. We've just got a handful of spots left. So if you're 13 or older, sign up. Get your family, get your friends, get your small group together. You can do that by signing the QR code or just jumping on our website, and you'll have your spot saved. And we'll look forward to seeing you there in early November before Thanksgiving. So it's a great time to serve. And then we said, let's love. And so last week we gave out these boxes. They say give, serve, love, so you don't get them confused with other boxes from Amazon around your house or whatever, although those boxes work as well. What we care about is what you put in them. And we said put some after school snacks, because we're partnering with these programs and these great ministries like Pine Valley and Center for Hope in Midland. And they have after school programs or weekend programs where they work with kids. And I don't know if you've been around kids lately, but they are hungry. They are hungry little things, and they just keep eating and eating and eating, right? And so you're always like, do we just have more food to give them, right? Do we have fruit snacks? Do we have chips? And so we're helping partner with these organizations through snacks, and we're going to partner with them financially as well. So if you didn't bring that back today, no worries. You bring it back next week for Celebration Sunday. And if you didn't get a box, again, no worries. We've got plenty of boxes. Stop by the guest service table and go, how do I get one of these boxes? We'd love for you to be a part of that as well. So next week, Be Rich celebration. Bring the boxes back. We're giving checks away. And then we're going to hear our cumulative totals from all of our partnerships, hours, finances, all that stuff together. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got a guest speaker that we're going to be interviewing, Sean Warren from Urban Impact. It's can't miss, okay? So get the word out. Invite your friends. It's going to be incredible Sunday. Right now, we are going to move into a time of local giving. So thank you for your support. Always thank you for your support of what God's doing in and through this local church. Instructions will come up on the screen, and you can also use the drop box at the back of the room. You can give online electronically as well. So thank you for doing that. We're also going to prepare our hearts and minds for the morning's message. How we doing again? Everybody all right? You ready? About 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we kicked off this series entitled Way Better, and it's a response. Its purpose is to be a response to this question that some of us are asking out loud, some of us are asking in whispers with our friends or family members, some of us are asking online, but we're just wondering, is there a better way? In fact, we're hoping there's a better way. There's got to be a better way, because what I'm experiencing, it just doesn't seem to be good enough. There's something in me that is giving me hope, or maybe calling me to a better way. I just don't know where it is. What is it? Christians are asking this. Church people are asking this. Non-Christians, people that aren't sure where they're at in faith, but they're exploring their faith options, are asking this. And in week one, we said there is an answer. And so let's just get to it right away. And you can listen to that message online if you missed week one. But the answer is a resounding yes, there is a better way. And it's not just a way, it's a person. How cool is that? And his name is Jesus. And he literally said in John 14, I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. And maybe you've heard that before. Even if you're not a church person, maybe you've heard that before. Probably you've heard that before. And you're like, okay, but even knowing that, I'm still asking this question. I'm still feeling this longing. I'm still experiencing this void. So what's up? What's going on? And we said that the mistake that people make, especially Christians, people that would say that they're Jesus followers, but also our culture, is we focus on the teachings and truth of Jesus. In fact, we think that to grow in our relationship with him, we say that all the time around here. We want to help you grow in your relationship with Jesus. We think, now this is our mistaken trap, that to grow in our relationship with Jesus, if we just focus on his truth and teachings and apply that is good enough. And then we can go and live the rest of our lives like everybody else around us. And that doesn't work. In fact, it's bound to fail. That's why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. The way of Jesus matters. How he lived his life matters. Yes, the way that he made for us to be in relationship with Jesus and the truth behind that and the theology behind that absolutely matters. But so does the literal way of Jesus. Who was he? How did he live? What did his life look like? What did his day-to-day practices? His early followers would have been firsthand exposed to that. For those of you that have little children, been around little children, hope to have little children, but you've seen them. The first thing they learn from their parents is their way. I want to dress like mom. I want to dress like dad. Dad's out mowing the lawn. I want to mow the lawn like dad, right? We have not poured in truth yet. We haven't been able to explain the why behind the what yet, but they are learning the way. They're looking like us. They're imitating us. They're trying to practice life the way we practice life. Jesus' first followers would have picked up his way before they ever realized what his truth meant. And today we just go all in on the truth, and that's awesome. We never want to take anything away from that, but we completely neglect the way. And then we wonder, why are we not experiencing the life that he talked about and the life that we long for? And so we said in week 1, the way of Jesus absolutely matters. And then we looked at this quote from John Mark Comer and his book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. It's so influential in and around this series. But he said, if you want to experience the life of Jesus, you have to adopt the lifestyle of Jesus. He didn't say you should look into it. It's kind of important. He's like, if you really want to experience, you have to adopt the lifestyle of Jesus. The way of Jesus matters. So then in week 2, we started talking about this. Well, what are some of the ways of Jesus? Like, let's talk about it. And we looked at, some of them are baked into the church, in many churches that you've attended. We talked about small groups and experiencing community. That was a way of Jesus. Practicing generosity. That was a way of Jesus. Inviting people into what's going on. That was certainly a way of Jesus, right? Serving others and giving of our time and talent. That was certainly a way of Jesus. We get to experience those all the time, but we said, let's go deeper. Let's look at ones that we kind of neglect, that we go right past. And that's our loss. But they're things that kind of go against the grain of culture. They go against the current of the very lives that we're living. That's probably why they're not baked into a lot of churches. And so we said these ways are called traditionally spiritual disciplines. And immediately there was a reaction last week, right? Like, because this is intimidating for the 2 words that it's called, right? It's too spiritual. Maybe it's too mystical. And then there's certainly that word discipline. And we said, if you don't like that, if you shy away from that, that's okay, because we don't have to call them that. In fact, that phrase, spiritual disciplines, is found nowhere in the scriptures. So let's just call them what they really are. They're the habits of Jesus, the practices of Jesus. These are the ways of Jesus. And we looked at our first way, habit, practice of Jesus that is just fallen away from the way so many of us practice our lives. It goes against the grain of culture. And that was this habit, this way of silence and solitude. And we talked about why we need it, why Jesus practiced it, and how we can get it back. And so that was last week. If you missed that, please go back and give that a lesson. But this week we're going to move on. And the habit, the way, the practice of Jesus that we're going to talk about, it is so countercultural that I was like, I really, really want to talk about this. It's been so good in my life, and I want you to experience this. But as soon as you see it, I can already feel the way the momentum's going to go in the room. It is so countercultural. It goes so against the grain of how our world lives and how many of us live our lives today. But there is no denying it. This was a habit. This was a practice. This was a way of Jesus throughout his entire life. And that way, that practice, that habit that leads to the life that we're longing for, if only we would take a step and try it, is Sabbath. Sabbath. Now, what do you think of when you see this word? For some of you, you're like, nothing. I've never heard it before. It's brand new. What you're experiencing right now is curiosity. For some of you right now, it's joy. You're leaning in because maybe it's a part of your life and you're like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this because it's so awesome. And for others of you, you're leaning back. You're apprehensive. It's negative. It's negative thinking. It's negative experiences. And if that's you, I want you to know that I can so relate to you. Because I grew up with this idea of Sabbath that was really, really negative. It wasn't what I experienced in my home. It was more what I kind of absorbed and learned from the culture around me about Sabbath. If I could put it in a nutshell, what I thought Sabbath was a more legalistic, rule-filled, no-fun Sunday. Anybody else have that mindset? I mean, it was just like the worst way you could spend a Sunday. Sundays are great if I go to church, but if you bring this whole Sabbath thing, and I'm not even sure what that means, but I know that it sucks the life and fun out of that day. And I think I got this idea, first of all, from watching Little House on the Prairie. My sisters were watching it. We had one TV. I just want to qualify that, okay? And I was kind of in the room, and it looked good, so I sat down. And I just remember that they had gone to church on Sunday, and then everybody kind of sat on a wooden bench or something in their house by a candle, and they read their Bible, and that was it. They were all by themselves, and I was like, how awful. Like, I'm so glad that I don't have to live in the pioneer days, but I'm really, really glad I don't have to spend my Sundays with nothing but a Bible and a candle and just waiting, praying for the sun to go down, for this day to be over, right? And that was really reinforced because I grew up in southern Lancaster County in Amish country, so I saw it on full display every Sunday as well. Once again, time out, I'm not Amish, okay? Once people hear that, I usually get a question on Sunday, not Amish, never been Amish, Krista's not Amish, but wonderful people, make great furniture. More than that, I just love what I've learned about how they practice their faith, and so really, really cool. So that was when I was younger, but then there's this moment that sticks out that happened to me when I was a teenager that really reinforced, like Sabbath is just, it's a no fun Sunday. I was at the Jersey Shore. Any Jersey Shore people here? That's how you go to the summer. Yeah, I know there's a couple of you. We were at Ocean City, New Jersey. It's around 1985, 1986. It's Sunday afternoon. We just got out of church, and I have got a pocket full of quarters. And I've got one agenda, one plan for the day. I'm heading up to the boardwalk, and I'm going to the arcade because that's the only place you can play video games, and I'm going to just unload on some Dig Dug, right? Maybe a little Galaga, maybe some Dragon's Lair if the line wasn't too long because that was really, really popular. So that's my plan. And I get up there on the boardwalk, and the arcade is closed. Closed. Right. Oh, man. Not just the arcade. Everything was closed. The entire boardwalk was closed. You know how, like, you want some Chick-fil-A after church on Sunday only to get over there and realize it's closed? You know, you tracking with me? Everything was closed. And I learned that day that up until about 1986, Ocean City, New Jersey was part of the state of New Jersey, and they had blue laws. And they were laws, religious rules and restrictions that were literally written down on a blue piece of paper, hence the term blue laws. And they had been around for years, decades. And one of these laws was no business on Sunday, which I translated as no fun on Sunday. And I was so grateful that I didn't live in that state. Now, by 1986, it was all repealed. And I remember like a summer later, I was like, it's about time, bringing fun back. That's what I'm talking about, 7 days a week. But I grew up with this idea that Sabbath was just, it was really legalistic. It was really rule-filled, and it meant no fun. And I just want you to know, if that's you, I can relate. And the truth is, that's absolutely not true. It's gotten a bad rap. I think it's just absolutely a lie. It's probably from the devil because he doesn't want us to experience how good this gift is. So let's wipe the slate clean. I'm just praying that everybody online and offline has an open heart and open mind. And let's go back and go, what is Sabbath? Let's start with that question. It comes from the Hebrew word Shabbat. Everybody say Shabbat. There, now you know some Hebrew. Okay, say it again, Shabbat. It means to stop, to pause. So at its essence, Sabbath or Shabbat means to stop, to pause. But it also has this other meaning, this dual meaning. It also means to delight. So it means to stop, to pause, and delight. This is something that God wants for us. So much of our culture, it just seems like this request and this requirement to do more. And God is inviting us to do less. It's an invite to stop, to pause, to delight. It's something for us. We use this for word all the time around here. God's saying, I've got something for you, a gift for you, an experience for you where I'm inviting you to stop, to pause, to breathe, to do less and delight. And this is something that Jesus did. He practiced throughout his whole life. Of course he would have, growing up Jewish and being a Jewish rabbi. But it's something that he wanted to do, and it's something that he invited us into. And when the legalistic powers that be that day, the Sadducees and the Pharisees, started to twist it and suck all the fun out of it, he was quick to tell people that that's not what it was supposed to be. In fact, Mark, the Gospel of Mark, he gives us an account of Jesus' life. And one day, Jesus is out walking with his disciples on the Sabbath. I mean, you had to get around. They're walking on the Sabbath together. And they get into this situation where they're hungry. And so as they walk through a wheat field, his followers start picking heads of wheat. Imagine if you're walking down a country path and there's a blueberry path and it's on Sunday, right? Blueberry patch. And you're like, you pick a couple berries, you know? It's not like they're for sale right there and you're stealing. They're just kind of wild, right? And you're grabbing them. And they were able to do that. But the Pharisees saw them do it and they're like, aha! You're eating on the Sabbath. It's not even that you're eating, you're working to eat on the Sabbath. Busted, Jesus, busted. You're working on the Sabbath. All they're doing is picking off these heads of grain. And Jesus just speaks into this, and I love it. It's so short, but it's so simple, and he tries to correct them. And he says this in Mark chapter 2. He says to the Pharisees, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Now, I know that can sound a little confusing. So what is Jesus saying? Let me explain that to you. He's saying, hey, everybody, listen up. The Sabbath is not this thing that's meant to suck the joy out of life. It's not a bunch of rules that are meant to confine you and make you miserable. It's a gift that's being given to you. The Sabbath was made for you. It's a gift. It's a pause, delight. You're acting like you were made for it, that you're supposed to fit into it, that it's this power and these rules and these regulations and this box that you're supposed to fit into, and like, oh, I don't quite fit for an entire day. Jesus is like, no. Let me tell you, because my dad's God and I'm his son. I've got it from the source. You're backwards. The Sabbath was made for you. It's a gift for you, and you're just missing it. You're so confused. You're missing out on how great it can be. It wasn't made so that you would fit into it and have this miserable day once a week. Well, where did Jesus get this idea of Sabbath? Where does it come from? How did he know that God made this incredible thing for us that he wants us to experience and be open to? Well, it goes the whole way back to creation. Genesis, the beginning of the Bible. Many of you have heard this account that God, maker of heaven and earth, makes us and the seas and everything in it. He breathes life into us. Men and women, his creation. It says that we're made in his image. And then God, in Genesis chapter 2, 1-3, the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array, and by the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing, so that on the seventh day, he rested. Shabbat, Sabbath. He rested from all of his work. You got work. How much work do you think God's got? He rested. Time out. Then God blessed the seventh day, and he made it holy. Made it holy as he didn't lock it up in a room, and everything shined up, and, you're not allowed in there. Don't touch it. He set it apart because it was special and to be respected. Not so holy that you couldn't touch it and experience it. It's just, I'm going to set this apart. It's special. It has significance. So that's what it means to make it holy. This is so special. This is so unique. It's such a precious gift that it's going to be different in the best way possible. He set it aside, he made it holy because on that day he rested from all the work of creating all that he had done. So it's easy for us today and go, isn't Sabbath kind of a Jewish thing? I mean, do we really have to listen to this? Can we glean anything from this? In the beginning, God created, and he created us. And the scriptures say that each and every one of us, regardless if we're Protestant, Catholic, non-denominational, Presbyterian, Jewish, practicing some other faith, I believe that God created us and he breathed into us his image. This is woven through the fabric of the universe and it beats in your soul. The image of God, and he rested. And he made this gift and set it aside for all of us. So let's look at this idea of Sabbath as rest. Why would Jesus practice it? Outside of in Genesis, God did it. Well, it's in the Ten Commandments. Anybody ever heard of the Ten Commandments? Given to the people of Israel through Moses by God. 10 Commandments. The first 3 are all about God. No other gods before me. No idols. Don't use my name in vain. The last 7 or 6 are all about us. Don't murder. Don't commit adultery. Don't steal. But commandment number 4 is all about the Sabbath. It is the longest commandment, word for word. How odd. And it's also the only commandment that truly gives us a why behind the what. How significant. Why so much detail? Because it's a gift that's been set aside and God wants us to have it. 10 Commandments. Commandment number 4, Exodus 20, 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath, Moses says, by keeping it holy. I want you to set it apart. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath. Pause, time out, rest to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work. I want you to remember this. Don't forget it. It's so countercultural. It's going to be easy for you to just go, bah. Remember it. Don't forget it. Why, Moses? Why should we do that? Glad you asked. I've got more words. Only 10 Commandments that has the why behind the what. Because for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that's in them. But he rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and he made it holy. And I want you to rest. And I want you to pause. And I want you to take a time out. And I want you to just enjoy all that's God given you. And I just want you to remember. It's a call. It's an invite to remember and stop. We don't have to be all about the hustle and the hurry 24/7, 7 days a week. We can rest. We can lean back and trust that God's got it. He's in control. We don't have to be in control. He's in control. And he's more than enough. And if God can take a time out, we can take a time out. I love this quote from Walter Brueggemann. He's an Old Testament scholar and theologian, and he says, the Sabbath announces that the world is safely in God's hands. That's what we're announcing when we personally take this time out. The world will not disintegrate if we stop our efforts. The world relies on God's promises and not on our efforts. He continues, the observance of Sabbath rest is a break with every effort to achieve, to secure ourselves, and to make the world into our image according to our purposes. That's so true. And I want that. I need more of that. I heard someone say the other day that we spend so much time in this culture trying to stay on top of things that we never get to the bottom of anything. Think about that. I've got to return every email. I've got to return every text. I've got to make sure everything on my to-do list is already done. I've got to make sure everybody on social media knows what I'm doing, and I've got to reply to everything that they're doing. Otherwise, they'll think I don't care about what they're doing, and then we won't be friends anymore. And I don't know if I can tolerate the rejection of my 3,000 friends online, not knowing that I'm on top of everything. So it's go, 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 hustle, hurry, and we never get to the bottom of anything. We never experience the life that is truly life. And God's not saying give all that up, put your phone away, everybody off social media. I mean, maybe that's what he wants, but that's not the message I have for today. I don't know. But he is saying for a day, could you stop? Could you rest? Could you let it go because you're not that big of a deal? I'm the biggest deal and I'm doing it. I've done it, and I'm inviting you into it. Not as a discipline, not as a miserable 24 hours, as the best day of your week. Would you trust me? He's saying, I want you to rest. I want you to delight. So what's this look like if we actually put it into practice? Well, you'd pick a day of the week. It doesn't have to be Sunday. It could be Saturday. It could be a Wednesday, whatever works for you. Pick some time. And just say, I'm going to try to rest. I'm going to step back. I'm going to delight. There's not a whole bunch of rules. But I do think it helps to have some guardrails. And so one of the questions that I use, my family uses, and John Mark talks about in his book is just this question of, is this rest and is this worship? When you want to know what you can do or maybe what you should be doing, run it through this filter of, is this rest and is this worship? I like this because it's simple, it's helpful, and it's going to look different for all of us. It's going to look different if you're a late 40s pastor like me that's encroaching on empty nesting, right? Than if you're a 20-something that's going to be gathering in our group next week. It's going to look way different. For you, you might be like, we're going to the mill, we're climbing all day. That just brings me rest and it's worship. And I'd be like, yeah, and I'll be hurting the rest of the week. That's not what I'm doing. For me, it might look like a long meal with friends and a good bottle of wine and no phones and being engaged in conversation. For you, it might look like a nap or reading books. It might mean actually taking time out for your hobby, okay? Worship isn't like, oh, see, there's Little House on the Prairie stuff. I just got to read my Bible and sing all day. No, Paul talks about worship as our entire lives for God in a mindset of who he is and what he's done. So I'm telling you, like on Friday night, and I'll get into this, we practiced Sabbath, and it was just Krista and I was eating a Jersey Mike's cheesesteak, and I'm telling you, it was an act of worship. I was so grateful for quiet time with Krista. I love a good cheesesteak. I was thankful for the ability to purchase it, even though prices have gone up considerably. And it made me think how good God is and how good he's been towards us. That's an act of worship. When I'm outside in creation, I'm more mindful of, you did this, and you rested, and you breathed, literally breathed life into my lungs. Today, I get to be with you. That's an act of worship. When I give full attention to my children, that's an act of worship. So what does it look like for you? You answer this question. It could look all kinds of different ways. A nap, a walk, nature, inside, reading. It could be a TV show. It could be a movie. But is it restful? Is it worshipful? For those of you that have kids, okay, you're 30-something and you've just in the thick of it with your kids. It might just be a day where you're like, you know what? We're not running to all the events, or an evening where you're not running all the events. We're actually going to be a family. And we're going to play together. We're going to have a meal together. We're not going to be on all of our devices. We're going to be in conversation together. Is this rest? Is this worship? Go to a museum. Go to an amusement park if that's rest and worship for you. Some people are like, that's not rest and worship. But some of you were like, yes, that's rest and worship for me. It's not meant to be legalistic. It's just meant to be guardrails. But here's the thing. If you ask that question and your answer to yourself is, well, kind of, maybe, let me think about it, time out. Just move it to another day. Just move it to another day if you're on the fence, if it's kind of gray. Just let this speak to you in black and white, so to speak. Let it be crystal clear. Is this rest and is this worship? Yes or no? And if it is, you just go for it. You lean in and enjoy the gift that God has given you. So rest, pause, delight. That's one way. But another reason for observing Sabbath and following in this practice and habit is different. And it's one that maybe you've not thought of, maybe one that you've not heard of before. And it's this idea of practicing Sabbath as rest and also as resistance. What do you mean resistance? Well, in Deuteronomy, we find another version of the Ten Commandments. Same 10 commandments. It's not like 10 Commandments 1, 10 Commandments 2, and now we've got 20. It's the same 10. But Moses had to give them again. So we've got Genesis, creation, Exodus, we find the first version of the Ten Commandments and the story of the Israelites being freed from Egypt. Leviticus, Numbers, and then Deuteronomy. Moses gives the Ten Commandments again, 40 years after the first time. And he's giving them to a generation that has been born wandering the wilderness. They do not remember what it was like to literally be in slavery. They do not remember the experience of God delivering them. So Moses gives them the 10 Commandments once again. It's like a refresher course for this brand new generation. And same order, first 3 commandments, all about God. 4th commandment is about the Sabbath. Once again, the longest, and also a why behind the what. The last commandments are all about each other. But he changes the 4th commandment just a little bit. Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. So the first part's almost the same. What changed? Observe. It's in there in yellow. It's not a trick question. It's observe. Does anybody remember what the first word was in Exodus? Remember. This is observe. Subtle, but I love the change. Observe. Kind of like we do a holiday. We observe Christmas. We observe the 4th of July. We observe Labor Day. Can you imagine one of those every week? Less stressful, but one of those every week. Labor Day, you did a little bit of prep. On Sunday, you went and got what you were going to barbecue. Hopefully you did a little bit in advance, and then you woke up Monday and you were like, this is so great. I don't have to go to work. Most of you. You got to experience it with friends and family. You just leaned in. All the activities were gone. It was just a day to be and enjoy. You didn't think of it as a Sabbath, but it was kind of almost a Sabbath. You just observed it. Moses is like, I want you to observe it like that. I want you to have a Labor Day once a week. I want you to have a 4th of July once a week. I want you to observe a less stressful Christmas every week. Just observe it. If that word helps, great. But then he gives us the why behind the what. Again, longest commandment, he gives us a why behind the what. But this is a big change. Last time the why behind the what was rooted in creation. This time it's rooted in the exodus and deliverance of slavery. Moses says, remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out of there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, the Lord your God has commanded you to observe the Sabbath. You people, you're getting a little bit off course. You're forgetting about the Sabbath. I want you to observe it. I'm telling you to observe it. And I want you to do it because I delivered you. But this isn't so much you owe me. I did you a solid, and now you got to do me a solid. And take this gift that none of you seem to want, because it's a really, really good gift. God's getting passionate and saying, remember, because they didn't remember what it was like to be in slavery. They were literally in slavery. They couldn't have taken a Sabbath if they wanted to, their mom and dad and grandparents. They were in slavery to a culture of more. Egypt was about more crops, more food, more pyramids. You build more. And what Moses is saying is, Egypt is alive and well, people. It's alive and well in your hearts. And if you're not careful, you're going to drift right back into slavery. Not a literal one, but a self-imposed one. You're going to drift into a lifestyle of more. We all tend to drift that way. And isn't Egypt alive and well today? We are living in a culture of more. Hustle, hurry, buy it, order it, more. It's not enough work. Do more. And if we're not careful, we will all drift into self-imposed slavery. We will be slaves to this culture of more. And God is saying, observe it. Remember that I delivered you all from slavery. I don't want you in slavery. I want you to experience this gift. Only commandment with a why behind a what. You know what God says about murder? Thou shalt not murder. He don't have to explain that to us. You know what he says about adultery? I'll give you a guess. Thou shalt not commit what? Adultery. He doesn't explain why. We get it. But Sabbath, we miss it so much. He explains it. He gives us the why behind the what. And he's like, do you want to be slaves? Because I'm afraid a lot of you are going to live up and end up as slaves. A lot of us today are living in self-imposed slavery, and we don't have to live there anymore. God's inviting us to rest, to pause, to delight. Can you imagine what this would look like in your life? And right now you're probably trying to imagine, how do I make this even happen? And we're going to talk about that in a moment, but just imagine you can make it happen. What would this do for you? What would this look like for you How would it influence your family, your children, your neighbors, your coworkers? How could it influence our culture if just Jesus followers stood up and said, no more of this crazy nonsense. I'm getting off the train. I'm getting off the hustle and hurry train. And once a week, I'm remembering, I'm enjoying, I'm hitting the pause button, I'm delighting, and I'm just going to live and lean in and be thankful for everything that God's done and everything that he's given me. What's this look like? How can you start? Well, we looked at this question of, is this rest and worship? And when it comes to Sabbath and resistance, I add another question, another guardrail in my own life, and I give it to you today. Is this consuming or creating? Now, consuming, I don't mean food. I want you to consume food and good food, and that's part of my Sabbath. I mean, are we just going to spend the day shopping? Sometimes we're bored and we look at each other. This happens in my house. What are we going to do today? I don't know. Want to go up to the outlets? Right? You want to go to the mall? I don't know. I'm going to surf Amazon. We don't need anymore. And a day of resistance and saying, you know what? Instead of focusing on more, I just want to be thankful for what God's given me. He's more than enough. So is this consuming? But also, is this creating? Because a lot of us could justify work as pleasure. I love my job. That's why I never stop. I hope, I choose to believe that God loved creating. He loved creating us in his image. I don't think it was a chore for him. It was a delight. He loved it. He wanted to do it, but he paused. He stopped. Is this creating? This isn't a day to finish all the home projects or the honey-do list. Now, if you like to practice hobbies, and Krista loves to craft, she's crafty, she's artistic, you know, she can create in that sense. It's her hobby. But if she's like, James, you know what we should do? We should paint the living room. No, that is certainly not restful for me. And if I told you, and we had this discussion yesterday, Krista, if I told you we hired a painting crew, would you be happy or sad? She's like, oh, that'd be awesome if somebody came in and did that for me. And I'm like, that's the guardrail. But if it's a craft and somebody was to do that for you, would you be upset? She's like, yeah, that I want to do. It brings me joy. It's worship. It's rest. So these are the guardrails that we use. And they allow us to lean in and rest and remember that God is more than enough. So hopefully you're at least curious. You're not pushing back incredibly. And let me just tell you what it looks like for us. It hasn't always looked like this, but here's what it looks like for us. Sunday's a work day for me. I hope you don't take that as a shocker, okay? It's kind of a stress day in the morning and stuff. So we don't practice Sabbath on Sundays. Right now we practice Sabbath on Friday evenings and Saturdays. And this is how the Jewish people practice it today as well. That's just a coincidence for us. It works out schedule-wise. Fridays are typically a day off for me. So Friday morning, afternoon is kind of a prep day. I'm doing all the chores around the house that need done. I'm mowing the lawn. I'm completing the honey-do list. And I'm going out and getting food for Friday night's meal, So getting some steaks or making some kebabs or I'm just prepping. I'm buying that bottle of wine. And then Friday evening or around sundown, I mark the beginning of our Sabbath, our Shabbat, our stopping and pausing and delighting by just paraphrasing Exodus 20 and saying out loud, maybe it's in a prayer, maybe it's outside if the weather's nice as the sun's going down, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. For the Lord your God created heaven, earth, and the seas and everything in it, and on the seventh day he rested. And then I just simply say, thank you. And our phones, and this is key, go into chargers for the next 24 hours. And we just lean back, rest, and enjoy. Long conversations, laughter, good food. Friday night's meal for us is just not only good food, but like a really rich dessert as well. We love ice cream. I think we've got half gallons of ice cream going on. Some chocolate chip cookies, right? We're treating ourselves. That is restful and worshipful. Don't judge me. That is just the way we're rolling. full attention. The conversations have been so good. We have invited friends over for that, and we don't go, this is Sabbath for us, and let us teach you about Sabbath. That's not a good time for anybody. We're enjoying Sabbath, and we invite people over just because we enjoy them, good friends, family members. And we go to bed, and we have a lazier morning. Maybe we go for a walk if the weather's nice. Maybe we'll go to a park. Maybe we'll go to a museum. Maybe we'll watch a movie. Saturday afternoons are involving a nap lately. That's so good you don't realize how tired you are until you can lean in and rest on that. Krista's usually doing something with a hobby. I might go see friends. We're doing all this stuff. My phone's in a charger. It's not on me. Can I just tell you how liberating that is? It is a shackle. Until it's off of you, you don't even realize how much it constricts your breathing, at least for me. I just feel free. And I'll walk by it 2 or 3 times a day, and I'll just wake up the screen. And here's my guardrail for my phone. One, I have an iPhone, and the new iOS lets you do do not disturb. I think they call it focus moments now. So I have it programmed that if somebody texts me on the Sabbath for that 24 hours, it just sends them an auto response that I'm not reading text right now, kind of like it does when you're in a car, and that they should call me if they really need my attention, because I am here to serve and I love you guys. But here's my guardrail. If people didn't leave me a voicemail, it's not important. Because if it's important, you're going to leave me a voicemail. And so it might say you've got 6 text alerts. I have the alerts on my email off. I never want to see that number ever. That's not good for me. I'll just look at it when I look at it. But I just go and see, did somebody leave me a voicemail? And if they did, I'm going to respond. But do you know how rare that is? Think about the last time you left somebody an important voicemail. So that's my guardrail. And then Friday nights, Saturday nights, we'll get pizza. Yesterday afternoon, I read for a little. I took a quick 15-minute nap. And then it was homecoming. My daughter's all in her dress. I danced with my daughter. We took her to dinner. We weren't rushed. I was fully in the moment. I wasn't so busy staying on top of everything that I got to enjoy the depth of that moment. And then Krista and I ate a meal outside at a local restaurant while the sun went down. No agenda, nobody bothering us. Our conversations have been so rich and so good, mostly because of me, not her, because of me, not because I'm that good of a conversationalist, that's not what I mean, because I'm fully present. That's not always true with me. No phone, no place to be, resting and delighting, and living in the awareness that God has been and is and will continue to be so good. It hasn't always been like that. We had younger kids and we used to do Fridays differently. If you've been around long enough, remember pizza movie night, we do that. And Saturday mornings, we tried to put on the brakes as best we can. Try to be a little bit different, but there's always been an element of this. We might get into a place where it's Sundays because it works better for Krista's schedule, and so maybe it'll be Saturday night, and I'm just going to have to be less stressed on Sunday morning, and then we lean into Sunday afternoons. What's it look like for you? What could it look like for you? One of the most pleasant surprises for us as we practice this throughout our life, it's a day that I can't wait for. Think about Labor Day. Was anybody like, oh, here it comes. I don't want it. Or Christmas or the 4th of July, every Friday night at sundown, I can't wait, I know it's coming. But I also know that it's influenced the other 6 days of the week. If I put my phone in a charger for 24 hours, do you know how liberating it's been for the other 6 days? I just don't feel like I need to be on top of it anymore. Because I just let it go for a whole 24 hours. I can let it go and have a meal and be fully attentive with people. It has so influenced all the other 6 days of the week and the rhythm of my life. In fact, Walter Brueggemann, we had a quote from him before. He says, people who keep the Sabbath live all 7 days differently. I want that for you. I think you want that for you. But I know some of you are pushing back and going, dude, this is crazy talk. Last week you asked me for 10 minutes of quiet time and I've been struggling with that. And now you want me to take a whole day? A whole day. I get that you're a preacher and you only work 1 day a week, but for me, I work all 7 because I have to work all 7. And I don't just work one job, I work 2 jobs. And dude, your kids, you're old, okay? Somebody needs to tell you that. You're old and you've got empty nest syndrome going on. Your kids are leaving and I'm not old and I've got kids. And I get that. I get that. It hasn't always looked the way that it does for us. But let me just, as a guy looking back, if you're in that stage, if I could give something to my younger self, it would be this. It would be this. If I could give something to my kids, and we taught them a lot, and when you get to my life stage, you look back, and I know I've learned this from those of you that have gone in front of me. You look back and you go, what could I have done differently? What would I have taught them differently? I wish I could have woven this into their childhood life experience, that they would have picked it up as habit, that they would have enjoyed it, and I would have passed the baton. Because now they're in college and they're doing their first job and they've learned a lot of good things. But do you think, we feel hustle and hurry. What do you think this world will be like in 5 years? What do you think it will be like in 10? They're already talking about glasses that'll give us the heads up display and chips in our head. I don't know, but it's gonna be faster. And if we feel this way now, how will we feel then? How will our children feel? This is the best gift that you could give them. God says, I've got something for you. Do it differently. Lean in. Give it to yourself. Let it radiate to our culture. So I beg with you. I plead with you. I encourage you. Just pick a day and start somewhere. 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever works for you. It might be a Wednesday night. It might be a Monday morning. What does it look like for you to just go, I'm going to remember the Sabbath and keep it holy because it's rest, it's resistance. God did it. And I'm going to do it too because Jesus did it. And his life was way better than mine. And if I follow him, I can experience the life that he experienced, the life that he's leading me to. I can experience too. So I beg you, I plead with you, the way of Jesus matters. And his way leads to a way better life. Week 1, we talked about this passage from Matthew 11 where Jesus invites us in. He says, come to me. If you're feeling stressed out, burned out, weary, the hustle, bustle, it's just what can life offer because I need a way better way. Jesus is saying, come to me, be joined to me. In week 1, we talked about yoked. This is the same passage, but from a paraphrase, Eugene Peterson, the Message paraphrase. And these are the words of Jesus, just kind of in modern English. Listen to this. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Matthew 11, 28, 30, Jesus goes on. Walk with me and work with me. Join with me. Watch how I do it. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Will you lean in? Will you accept the invite? Will you trust that his way is better than our ways and that his way is actually way better and could lead to the life that you're longing for, that you're searching for? Come. I'm going to invite the band out. We're going to close in a song. And it's called Waymaker. And the song says, he is the waymaker, the promise keeper, the miracle worker. He's the light in the darkness. And as we sing this, I want to encourage you to take a step of application. To say, today I'm going to follow in the way of Jesus. For you, that might be literally like, Jesus, I've not placed my trust in you. And in your own way, in your own words, in your own prayer, you're just like, I believe you are who you say you are. The Son of God. I believe I receive that gift and I place my life in your hands. And you would just, in your own way, in your own words, in your own prayer, say, just help me to follow in your way and to grow in my relationship with you. For others of you, it's a step to maybe get baptized. There were so many hands that went up 2 weeks ago. And one of the ways of Jesus, one of the things he asked us to do is I want you to publicly profess your faith. I'm asking you to get baptized. It's a step of obedience. If you haven't done that, that probably will be your next step. And so I want you to pull out your phone and I want you to go to our website and I just want you to click baptism and start that process. Or maybe it's starting point. You're just starting out or you're starting over. We have a community. Join community. of people just like you and learn more about the way of Jesus. You can sign up for that today on your phone. Maybe it's generosity. Maybe it's inviting somebody. Maybe it's pulling out your phone during this song and scheduling your quiet time tomorrow, or picking when you're going to do your first Sabbath. Whatever it is, there is a step for you that is way better than where you're at right now. It will lead you towards the life that you're longing for and help you grow in your relationship with Jesus. So take a step now, not just sometime today, now. What will it be for you?
If you want to stand and sing this song with me. You are here, you're moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. And you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, you're touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you.
give him brokenness, the things that we don't see. Our lives, let's give him this moment, our hearts. Oh, yeah.
Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working.
You never stop, no.
Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. 'Cause you are way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. And you are way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Miracle work, promise keep, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. And you are way make, miracle work, promise keep, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Thank you so much for joining us. Let me pray for us and then we'll get on our way. Father, I thank you for bringing us together this morning. I thank you for your son, Jesus, who came to be the way, who came to show us the way. And I pray as we leave here that you would give us the wisdom and the courage to trust you and to lean in and take a step. And when it comes to Sabbath and those that are going to try it, I pray that for them, I pray for eventually all of us, that we would experience it as the gift that it's meant to be, something for us, the best day of our week as we rest and delight in who you are, what you've done, and what you will do. We pray these things in the name of Jesus. And everybody said, amen. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, next week, Be Rich celebration. You're not going to want to miss it. Go in peace. We'll see you then.